Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pitchside podcast channel. I'm your host, the HOD of the PSB. Like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, enable notifications to receive all the updates from these match recaps and all of the content on the channel, including the podcast episodes which can you listen to on Spotify, Google Podcast or any other platform. Follow us on social media at SidePSB, on Twitter, PitchsidePod, on Instagram, and you are welcome. Joining us, of course, after the game between Real Madrid and Real Sociedad from round 25 of Laliga just ended, 1-1 draw between the Merengue and Real Sociedad, and it was, I think, the tale of two halves pretty much, mostly for Real Madrid, at least from a tactical perspective and from a choices kind of point of view from Zinedine Zidane. Of course, he still has no Benzema in, so he started with the same kind of formation, this sort of modified three at the back kind of deal with Casemiro as a third centre half, and it, did really well in terms of possession. Real Madrid had the Real Sociedad defense pretty much pinned in their own half for most of the first half. Real Sociedad didn't try to do a lot. I think they tried to apply the same sort of system that Atlanta applied in the Champions League game of defending really well, trying to not let the players move inside, and certainly with Mariano Diaz as the centre striker, you don't expect Real Madrid to be as mobile. He doesn't drop a lot. Asensio and Isco do not really help, and you have a Casemiro being a third centre back doesn't help running forward, doesn't open spaces, and Kroos and Modric are pretty static in the midfield. Let's be fair about this. Modric probably moves more than Kroos, but Kroos doesn't really help a lot in terms of moving and opening spaces, so that I think eased the game off for Real Sociedad in the first half. And in the second half, they decided to start in the attack. They started on the front foot in that second half, and they scored early in the 53rd minute. A ridiculous goal, by the way, in the way it happened, or the 55th minute, should I say, from Porto. The whole transition in the back, how Nacho Monreal found space behind the defenders. The transition from David Silva in that first pass, by the way, was brilliant. That shows you the quality that he still has in him. Nacho Monreal with a beautiful cross, and Porto is like 5'5", like he's not exactly the tallest man on earth, and somehow he's still got a header over Mendy, who's like have the worst recovery run in the world. Varane and Casemiro were already beaten, and it was 1-0 Real Sociedad. And from that was Real Madrid trying to go on the front foot. Real Sociedad were planning to play on the counter, certainly broke on a couple of occasions, but the finishing wasn't exactly good. A mistake from Courtois and Mendy, a common mistake from Courtois and Mendy, almost ended up in the back of the net as Porto intercepted and threatened to score. Risak threatened to score, but he missed the finish. Real Madrid, I think, were quite static for most of the game, but the turnaround, I think, happened in the 77th minute with Federico Valverde coming in. Also, Rodrigo was introduced to the game. Vinicius Jr. and Hugo Duro as well were introduced, and Federico Valverde and Rodrigo just made a lot big of difference, really. Federico Valverde and Rodrigo with their movements, their direct runs that Vinicius doesn't really make on the other side. So Vinicius' substitution was exactly without any addition, without any contribution to the game. He scored the goal. I mean, the goal was deflected off the defender of Real Sociedad, really, so I think it was a lucky goal mostly for him. But Rodrigo and Federico Valverde added a lot of incisive runs, a lot of dynamic nature. Again, more runners were coming into the attack for Real Madrid. Casemiro was making in, and the shape was shifted into the normal 4-3-3 with Casemiro as the sort of extra runner from that midfield. Real Madrid managed to score late on in the game, capitalizing on the drop-off and the huge drop-off of Real Sociedad, changing their system as well, thinking they were trying to accommodate the change in the shape for Real Madrid, playing with the proper 5-3-2 with the introduction of Sanyan as a third centre half, and it backfired hugely. The second actually, a good run from Federico Valverde and Rodrigo link-up play. Lucas Vazquez gets in that pocket of space, which he didn't do for most of the game. He finds the cross. Vinicius Jr. comes in. For the first time, he starts in a good position, and he takes a shot deflected off the defender and into the net. 1-1 for Real Madrid. A recommendable performance from Real Sociedad defensively for most of the game. Real Madrid weren't exactly firing on all cylinders when it comes to trying and shooting. They had 21 attempts, but only 2 hit the target. One of them was the goal, and also they had chance on the crossbar in the first half. So I mean, they weren't exactly firing on all cylinders. I think they were probably thinking too much of the derby in the weekend against Atletico Madrid before they even think about this game against Real Sociedad. It was a tough game, a tough result. I think a fair draw, all things considered. Real Sociedad had a great defensive performance, great defensive display, well positioned, not losing their shape against Real Madrid, and mostly static. Real Madrid got a point and a draw and a goal from just about the 20 minutes where they were more active and more mobile on the pitch, and again with the introduction of Federico Valverde and Rodrigo. Rodrigo should be starting in the derby. Like if Real Madrid want to win the derby anyway, Rodrigo should be starting. I think Valverde should be starting. They add a lot of depth and width and dynamism into that attack of Real Madrid. At least when you don't have Benzema, you have runners and you have players moving, depending of course if Benzema is going to be available for the derby or not. A draw for Real Madrid that keeps them at 5 points of difference within the top 3 behind Atletico Madrid, and joint Barcelona, joint on 3rd place in La Liga with 53 points. Before the derby, of course, in the weekend, which is going to be a very, very crucial game for Real Madrid to determine whether they're going to be going all the way and win La Liga title, or Atletico Madrid are going to get more advantage in this title race. That's it from me for this recap. I was your boy, the HOD of the BSB. Like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, enable notifications to receive all the updates, listen to our podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Samora, or any other platform, and Pitch Side Pod on Instagram. Find me there, SideBSB on Twitter, and until next time, I'll see you soon.